This is Dan Royal with Dan Tech Reviews. I've had this phone, iPhone 5 SE, since 2015. Let's see the differences. This is honestly a great phone. The reason why I upgraded was because the charge port stopped charging. So in order for this to charge, I would have to plug in the charge port, but really just honestly force it in there really hard and then just leave it there. And so that happened because I was cleaning out my port because it had dust. And then the second thing, I upgraded the camera. It stopped focusing nearby, so to scan QR codes made it nearly impossible to scan QR code. Other than that, this phone has been a rocker. So there's actually some strengths and weaknesses to each phone. I'll go with the strength for the iPhone SE. One of the strengths is the build quality. So I don't know if you can see here, but the aluminum casing is just a lot thicker than the aluminum casing here. It's just very thin. And so the build quality is absolutely rock solid. There is some sort of gap, but I don't see any physical rubber barrier. This one actually has like a little rubber barrier, so maybe this gives it kind of a shock-proof type design. After getting the iPhone 13, just having it for a few days, I've already scratched the screen. I think it's actually like a minor crack actually, and it's actually really annoying. But I just put this in my bag, my soccer bag. I think maybe the ball pump might have scratched it. The other thing is this phone has a bigger screen. So what I noticed when I went back to this phone is that the colors and the pixels were just a lot better color on the newer phones than the old phone. And so now that I'm looking at it, the pictures just look just not as crisp. It's a noticeable difference. The apps and everything way more crisp, way more nice on this phone than the other phone. So that's the big advantage with this phone. The other advantage is that it has wireless charging. This phone doesn't have wireless charging. And then this phone, however, this phone has thumbprint. Thumbprint is way better than Face ID. Most of you guys can't remember because you probably haven't had a thumbprint for 5-6 years, but wow, thumbprint, I can just be walking, I have my phone in my pocket, take it out, look up, it already scans my thumb. I don't have to take my mask off. I know there's like a mask setting for this phone, but also in other situations, I don't even have to, I can just like put this on the pay. I don't have to like have it scan my face and have it like register me. The thumbprint's just way faster. This saves me minutes, and it's really annoying because this thing has to scan my face, and then sometimes I'm not in a place where I need it to scan my face, or I have something on, I have a hood, it's a dark place, it's dark outside, for example, it's dark, you can't see my face. And so then, I have to fidangle with this, trying to figure out I just miss the thumbprint a lot, actually. Also, it tries to scan your face and sometimes it won't scan it. And see, I'm trying to get it to pull up the numbers so I can input my passcode. It says swipe to unlock, okay, but I'm swiping. If the thumbprint's not working, I just press the home button and then I put in my passcode. This one, not quite. Advantage for the smaller phone, actually, the SE, is that when I have it on vibrate, this phone actually vibrates. Meaning that if I misplace my phone, it's on vibrate, I can call it. And the vibrator engine in this phone just like zzz, and like I can hear it zzz, and then this one is like you can't hear the vibration on this phone. It just goes zzz, 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 zzz. So it's like if you misplace this phone on vibrate, you're gonna have to sign into your Apple ID and figure out where it is and pinpoint it, because the vibrate on this phone is just doesn't make a sound. This phone can get me through basically 2 days without having to charge it. So I'm a pretty light user, but it is actually really convenient to only have to charge it once every 2 days or once every day. This phone, I had to be charging it all the time ever since I did that upgrade to iOS 15. The speakers on this phone are just I almost feel like it's gonna break, but this phone has bass, and I was really surprised. This phone, the speakers are compared to this phone, but they actually do a great job. This phone, I actually feel like I'm gonna break the speakers. They're so good. That's one of the things I really miss about this phone. I always call this phone like the Steve Jobs phone because it's when Steve was still around. And I just think it was really designed well. Honestly, they went back to the design. You can prop it up like this, like that. This phone, you can't really, well, I think it has the power button on this side and the volume button on this side. So if I try to prop it up, it's probably gonna, oh, here, it propped up. So that's perfect. Anyway, so that's kind of nice that they went back to the original design for this phone. Another thing is that the old phone, actually the bezels actually are pretty comparable, the size bezels to the old phone. The side bezels are almost the same. Obviously the top bezels are completely different, but the side bezels are surprisingly the same. I thought the newer phones would probably go all the way out to the edge, but that took me by surprise. It's the biggest advancement of the phone is the colors of the screen. Other than that, they basically do the same thing. You can access the internet, the apps. Would I say it's faster? Honestly, if I'm being honest with you guys, it's not noticeably faster than this phone. Everything's snappy. There's nothing wrong with the display. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. I thought this was going to be a lot faster. Like when I sign into apps and stuff, I thought it was going to be a lot faster, but it takes about the same time. These phones are very similar, but this one is definitely built better. This one can take a beating. It's kind of sad that over the years, I think Apple had made their phones more delicate. I was looking at some of the forums, and they actually used to have their back panel made of glass. Why would they do that? I have no idea. Power button, I really liked having the power button on the top. This one has the power button on the side. Taking screenshots just made it a lot easier to take the screenshot having the power button on the top. Yeah, anyways, I was really surprised that this phone had a lot of pros. I mean, the headphone jack is there. That's a pro, right? The fingerprint pad here to open your phone is just awesome. I mean, this always works. I don't have to be putting my face, having my phone looking at me, and then opening. I can just have it here. It opens so fast. I mean, where's Dan's face? Where's Dan? Come on, Dan, where are you? Then, why can't you open up? Anyways, so it's just a lot more annoying to open up. Eventually it does open. It takes like an extra second or two. But why spend an extra second when you have this awesome thumbprint that doubles up as a home button? Okay, so the thumbprint would be nice. Basically, if they had a thumbprint right here, that would be great. You can like unlock your phone at night. You can unlock your phone without even looking at your phone. You could, if you really want to make your phone super safe, you can enable both Face ID and Touch ID for certain actions on your phone or getting into your banking app or something like that. Anyways, it would be great to have a Touch ID right here on the back. I really think that's the way to do it. I think that's the main thing I miss, to be honest, is the touch. The Touch ID is really essential. And the point that this phone can vibrate on silent and you actually hear it vibrating. The flip phones and those phones would vibrate a lot. I mean, this phone just has vibrate on lock, and then this one just, has the fancy touch vibrate and stuff like that. But it's not giving it any points when it comes to calls on vibrate. I mean, you really can't locate this phone. All right, other than that, it's missing the two things I miss are that vibrate feature, the thumb ID, Everything's good, and the build quality seems to be a lot better on this phone. I think it even has like a little rubber casing around the phone that separates it from the aluminum body. And this one, I think it's just aluminum to glass. That's it. This is the iPhone 5 SE compared to the iPhone 13 mini. Would I still buy this phone? I would say buy the phone and get it on like iOS 14, 13. Get it on iOS 13. I think most apps have to operate on iOS 14 now, even banking apps. So maybe iOS 14. I wouldn't upgrade past 15.1. I think there's like 15.2, 15.3. Those updates actually made it quite a bit slower and more finicky. Slower meaning the charge would go way down, would shut down apps as I'm using them, and so it would get a little slower in that regard, wasn't as crisp. Well, definitely recommend not going past iOS 15.1 or 0.2. Definitely don't go past to 15.3. Don't do it, because your battery life, you'll have to charge this like twice a day. All of us, should remember this phone. It's awesome. I actually just sold it on eBay a few days ago, but I'm actually having difficulties parting ways. I know it sounds like that, but this was the coolest phone, because anytime I pull out this phone, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you have the iPhone. What is that? The 4, the 5?" I'm like, or they're like, "Hey man, that's really cool. Wow. I wish I could keep going with my phone. Wow, you're a trooper." So it's actually a really good conversation starter. It's almost like a piece of me is in this phone. I actually like kind of grew an attachment, especially after seeing that this phone actually has some pros over the new phone. That was like the most surprising thing. Pros being the vibration and the thumbprint to scan things. I mean, that was honestly the best thing. So thank you guys so much. This has been a video with Dan Royal at Dan Tech Reviews for you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.